Hi, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lindsay Sauer from Sweet and Sour Firsties. If you're new here, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for tons of weekly back-to-school tips and tricks to help make it your best school year ever. This week is all about helping students truly understand expectations. Now, if you're like me and have taught primary grades for a long time, it feels like you can talk and talk and talk at students, and it seems like they're getting it, but then when it comes time to practice or when you're trying to teach, they don't understand it. They don't follow them, and you're stuck practicing again. So for this week, I'm going to share all of my favorite tips to help students truly understand those expectations so that you can hit the ground running and begin teaching content and not continually going back to expectations over and over throughout the year. Let's talk about my first tip. My first tip for every procedure you're going to teach is to use looks like and sounds like. And before I get into this, I want to pause for a moment and I want to say that when you are teaching procedures to young students, you need to think through everything they need to know from the moment they walk in your door to the moment they leave your door. What are all the things they need to do? Think about during the first week. It's a lot, right? We're talking about going to the bathroom, getting a pencil, turning in work, lining up, sitting on the carpet. What do they do when they come in the morning? What do they do when they leave in the afternoon? There is a laundry list of things that need to be taught to these young students so they get it and you can spend more time teaching. Now, if you need a list, check out this completely done for you, all the procedures you need, checklist form to help you make sure you don't forget anything. Now let's get to this tip. So we're gonna practice with lining up. What does it look like when students are lining up? I want you to visually close your eyes and picture what do you want students to look like when they line up to go anywhere. So we're thinking facing forward, hands to ourselves, all of the things that need to be taught. Same thing with sounds like. What do students sound like when they're getting ready to line up? Now, here's where the gold comes in that you need to make sure that you do with students. You need to make sure that you build this anchor chart with students. As you can see, it's blank here. It's ready to go, but we're going to build this together. You want their help, and then you're going to write down everything you expect to see from them, everything that you want them to sound like, and you want to be very meticulous when you come down to these ideas. I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise when you do it this way, they truly understand those expectations and continue to do them all year long. After you're done building this anchor chart with students and charting with them, then it's time to model and practice. So you're gonna model for students what it looks like when they're lining up and what it sounds like, then they practice. Now I'm gonna give you a secret tip. You're gonna wanna write this one down. When you're practicing this with students, here's something really important. You are going to practice it until they get it right. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna take 30, 40, 50 times, but if you say, nope, let's try again, and you have them practice again, that's how they really get it. So explicitly showing them what their expectations are and modeling and practicing until they get it. For our second tip, for helping students truly understand expectations, we're gonna talk about using visual and how important that is, especially for those young students. We're talking about those K-1 students and even some of those second graders who don't have strong reading skills. They can see the pictures and truly understand what the expectations are. So something that we like to do at the beginning of the year is go through everything just like this too. We're talking center time, going to the bathroom, active listening, everything that you expect from students, show them, practice it, model it with them. So for this anchor chart, what we do is we build it again together. Doing it with them, having them practice is going to be your biggest bang for your buck. So again, they truly understand it. If you want them to understand it and get it, you've got to give them the time and the practice to do it. Now for this one, we have these little cards. Again, they have words, they have pictures. So even if those students can't read yet, think about those kinder students. They can look at the picture and they can determine if it's a good choice or not. So what we do at the beginning of the year is we're all on the carpet together. Everybody gets a partner, everybody gets a card. They can work together to figure out if it's a good choice or a poor choice. What I do to make sure students truly understand is I let them come up as a pair. They can talk about whether it was a good choice or not so the rest of the group can see it. And then they get to glue it on the chart. Again, anything you can do with students, get their buy-in, they're gonna understand those expectations better. I want you to think about the process of expectations like any scaffolded lesson you do. I do, we do, you do. So I am telling you what your expectations are. We are practicing and creating the anchor chart together. and you are showing me you understand your expectations. So simple cut and paste activities, anything like this, to make sure not only do some of us understand it, but all of us understand it. These activities can be done with any expectation you have in your classroom, from sitting on the carpet, listening, transitioning, lining up. Think about those things that students really struggle with on a daily basis, and those are where you need to hone in and really spend the time creating these anchor charts, having them practice, making sure they get it. And the last really big tip I have for you here, after you have talked about the expectations, created the chart together, modeled and practiced. Now, when you start to practice, this is really important for you. You can incentivize students to make those good choices that you expect to see by telling them that you're going to take pictures of them. I promise this is gold. It works so well. They are so motivated to want to have their picture taken, of course. Then you can actually put it on your anchor charts. This is one that I've done and created. You can also put it up here. So we've modeled what it looks like to make good choices. Now let's see us doing it. Oh, I'm gonna add Sally up here. Oh, and I see Billy making good choices. And you're literally adding their pictures so they can see themselves in action and they know exactly what it looks like because they have helped create it too. This also really works for your students who are disengaged too. I don't like this, or I don't need to practice. Incentivize them by putting their picture up here. Look, Billy, I knew you could do it. Wow, look at, you're gonna be a model for the rest of the class. All of these pieces of the puzzle work really well together and help your classroom almost run itself. You know, I'm all about that, and here's how we get there. It's really spending the time honing in on those important expectations that they need to do on a daily basis. Think about sitting on the carpet. I hear from teachers all the time how stressful it is and how someone's rolling around and they're playing and talking. They need more time practicing. They need more buy-in. They need more explicit modeling with you. And the last thing I want to talk about that really helps is tying in a story with this. First of all, this is one of our favorite back to school stories, and it's great for making good choices because it's a choose your own adventure story. And so you can literally pick the good choice or the poor choice, and they can see exactly what can happen, what the outcome is with both. So just like we see ourselves in stories as adults, so do kids too. So having them see and practice themselves in stories too is really important and a great way to tie it all in together. And if you've loved all these tips I've given you, I've actually done all the hard work for you. If you haven't seen the first week kit yet, it literally has all of this stuff we've talked about, paired read alouds with interactive, engaging lesson plans, printables, everything done for you so that you can have that classroom that runs itself and you have the time built, done for you so that you can spend it by helping students truly understand their expectations. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this week's tip. Again, if you haven't, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe because I've got all the tips and tricks to help make it your best school year ever. And if you would like to read even more about this and grab the first week kit, you can do that in the caption below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.